right. All right, it works. All right, hey everybody, I'm Eric. I'm going to be writing some music today. If anybody's joining me, can follow along and see what I'm working on. This track that I'm working on right now is one I wrote a couple years ago. So I mean, I have a whole bunch of themes that I've got planned, lined up, planned, ready to go. So this is the next one that I'm working on. The last one I worked on, tried to keep it simple, and I ended up making it a little more complicated. But it'll be interesting. Maybe, I don't know if anybody's following along, they'll be able to see how that progresses. But I mean, as anything, I mean, it's always better to start things simple and then kind of work on that and make it more complicated as you go. One bad habit I've had is just making things really complicated to start and then getting stuck. So that's I think that's been the biggest challenge that I've had in writing music is I tend to start out too complicated. So the last few tracks have been pretty good. This one's super simple. So this one's just a simple theme, just a character theme that I wrote about some king. It's about a banished king. King. He's kind of an old king, late 40s, that sort of thing, and he comes to the throne after kind of a life of servitude, about two empires fighting each other, and his father, who's the old king, really old king, ends up going missing. And so he takes the throne after a while, after they couldn't find him. And there's a whole story for that. And then they find the old king, and he comes back, but he's kind of worse for wear, and so he's kind of upset. People left him and forgot about him, he thinks. And so he gets paranoid, doesn't trust anybody. He especially doesn't trust the new staff that his son has employed. And there's some of the old king's staff kind of mixed in there, and so he trusts them, and basically ends up banishing everybody else. So this is about the young king, still kind of an old king, but not the old king, and he gets banished. So it's kind of a tragic song, but kind of a redemption song too. I also have a theme for the old king too. It's not as pretty, not as nice. In the description is actually a link of the whole thing. So let's actually play. Let's actually play to where we're at. Let's see. Probably add some cymbals there. Yeah, I've already gotten to this part. I'll have some sort of transition between that. Let's see. Okay. But in a lot of the song that I have, you can see these notes don't quite start off at the first of the measure, or they kind of roll. But here I don't really need that. That doesn't really work there. This, Yeah, see there, it does. On the 41st measure, let's see. There's something back here. Yeah, this part. I'm not sure if I want. Oh, and I'm probably gonna change up the pedal stuff too eventually. Let's see. Let's see. What is my pedal? Yeah, my pedal's pretty heavy. Whenever I play music, I usually focus more on the notes, and I usually have a heavy right foot. But most of this I'll probably give some of the, probably not the melody, but probably a lot of the bass. I'll give a lot of the bass to the, I probably have a pipe organ, maybe at least in the start. I'll have strings, and I usually have brass. So I always seem to have French horns. French horns are my favorite. Not as much trumpets, but mostly because I don't really know how to use them effectively. I know there's a lot of songs that I listen to, and I'm like, man, this sounds really great, these trumpets, but I need to figure that out. They're usually too high pitched for me. Most of my songs kind of are in like the half octave below middle C range, so French horns kind of fit that tone. Let's see how this sounded. Yeah, that's fine. And I'll eventually end up changing all the dynamics. So if you're watching and thinking, oh, it's too loud, that's too quiet, blah blah blah, I'll usually change that after I fix everything. So the thing that I'm mostly fixing is a lot of the rhythm imperfections. Maybe it's kind of tedious, kind of fun. I kind of enjoy it. These are kind of too loud. Do, 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 do. Na, na, na. Mm-hmm. Do, 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 do. Mm-hmm. Let me see. My mouse is kind of acting up today. Kind of being. Maybe the battery's dying. Alright, let's see. And let's see. I think I have chat open, so if anybody's watching, they can definitely tell me if the audio balancing is wrong. Like if voice is too quiet or the music audio is too loud. I think actually let's try and change that. Try to make the desktop audio a little quieter, just in case. Let's change this so I can hear. Kind of lied about not changing the velocity. Okay, here's where I need to get to work. Okay, so most of these are about this length. Just grab all those, push them over to the next measure. And they're about an eighth note. I think that's an eighth note. Why there's such a sustain there is because I have the pedal so heavy there. I kind of wish it wouldn't. I don't really need to know, like touching each one of these notes. I don't really, like Ableton doesn't really need to tell me how the doesn't really need to tell me how the pedal's gonna sound. Honestly, it's kind of annoying. The last track I didn't really have that problem because I think I ended up. Usually, what happens is whenever I record everything on piano because piano is my primary instrument, and so I usually rely really heavily. I normally rely really heavily on the piano. I mean the pedal, to kind of get me through and make sure I'm just focusing on writing. Like I'm usually focusing on writing, and I mentioned this, and usually when that happens, I tend to be really heavy on the pedal, and because of that, whenever I import it into Ableton or Logic or something like that, there's usually a lot more pedal than there should be, and I don't really need that. But most of the time, once I start orchestrating, like there aren't really pedals in most other instruments. Like violins don't have a pedal, uh, things like that. A lot of the stringed instruments that I tend to use, they don't have pedals. So there's not, I mean, you have a sustain, but it's, the notes are very, even if it's legato, it's still a lot more deliberate than, it's not still playing once I get, like, I can't really hold the note down if I go to a different one. Like you can on piano. So most of the time I end up just deleting it and I feel fine. It's kind of like pedals often my security blanket. But that's just an inefficiency of me as a musician, but I'll get better. Okay, so this note should be here. Dun, dun, dun. So one thing I did notice, let's see, there's a key that I found the other day that let me move this anywhere I wanted it. How did that, what was that? Hold on. That was like super handy. No, that's not it. Man, shoot, what was that? That was, when I figured that out, that was super great. Not that. Not that. Not that. Not, I think I already did that. No, not that. I think it was like 2 notes? I mean, 2 keys? Oh no. It's basically draw mode. I mean, not draw mode. It's, shoot, what is that? Don't want that. Do, do, do. No, no, no. One of these days I should just, whatever I write, I should just end up doing it in kazoo too. And see which one becomes more popular. Oh, man. I don't know why my fan base is just plummeting. Everyone's unfollowing me. No one likes me. I don't know why. It might be the kazoos, but it might not be that. I don't know. Shoot, what is it? Hold on, let me check. Internet shall help me. Ableton hotkeys. Shortcuts. Oh, wow. Google Images has all sorts of cool stuff. Let's see. Free. I don't even know what that's called. Let's see, let's go find the images. Maybe that's even more helpful. I'm using a Mac right now, if that makes, I don't know if anybody's watching and they fancy using Ableton. Ableton works just fine on the PC and the Mac, but I used to use both, but I eventually appreciated the Mac a little bit more, particularly because of its acceptance of MIDI controllers better. Like I'd have a really cool idea, and my inspiration for writing something just, I don't know, it lasts like 30 seconds or a couple of minutes or something, but if I lose that, like I can feel, man, I've got a cool theme coming on, and then you're hooking up the MIDI controller and that doesn't work. You have to switch it, you have to unplug it and plug it back in, restart the computer, and by the time you get it set up, it wasn't working. And maybe it was just the MIDI controller that I had. I think I have this guy with the suntanned keys. I think that whoever had it before me left it in front of the mirror. Let's see. Not the mirror, the window. Huh. Shoot, I need to know this, because this was like super handy. Basically what I'm trying to do is these notes are far too, the measure basically starts right here. Well, it doesn't really start here. Anybody who knows music will know that well, I guess the phrase starts here. I think I am off. Like the phrase should start at the beginning of the measure, but I added a few extra notes, and technically if you're writing in sheet music, you would just add a measure there that would have like 2 notes. It'd be like 2-2 or some 2-4 or something like that. And I don't even know how to do that in Ableton. It doesn't really matter because I'm on the. It doesn't even matter. Oops. But what I'm trying to do is move these closer because I do want it to have a rolling sound. But not that much, and I need to get it closer. But I figured out the other day, and I just totally forgot. Dun, dun, dun. Hold on. If I don't figure it out in a few minutes, I'll just give it up. Because it's really interesting me going to Google, looking up things. If you're watching and want me to see me do music. Oh, weird. There's like some sort of weird stickers you can buy that show you hotkeys. Hold on. Let's see if I can figure it out myself again. Oops. Okay, so maybe it was multiple keys. Oh yeah, kind of that, except for I don't want a new note. Ah, that's coolish, but not quite. Hold on, let me see. No. So I held down Shift, Alt, and Command, and that kind of worked. Maybe. Okay, hold on. What would it be? It would be. Let's see. Adaptive grid, crop clip, loop selection. It's kind of like not having. Oops. It's kind of like not having a grid at all. And then maybe it was just that. Maybe it wasn't a hotkey. Maybe I've lost it. Okay, let's see how that sounds. Ew. Kind of wish. No, let's move that. Kind of want it to be rolly. Yeah. Basically, a proper roll would kind of also have the notes be a little like brum, like louder as they get up higher. Kind of like, let's see if that works. Let's make these quieter. Okay, let's. It doesn't really need to be that loud. It's supposed to be. There we go. I don't know. Whatever. Ugh, man, my mouse is just not having it today again. It might just be the surface that I've got it on. Let's do this sheet music. Yeah, that's actually a little bit better. I'm new to computers. All right, let's see. So usually I like to go to coffee shops and do this type of thing with the music. Well, I don't know. Like, I really kind of like going to coffee shops. Just, it's fun to be around other people and just, I mean, coffee shops are not the best place to go if you want to work on music, and I wish they were, because most of them have super loud music. I ended up writing it wasn't like an angry letter on Yelp, but it was kind of like not a happy one. I mean, I did my best to be constructive. I just said, this is my favorite coffee shop, but I wish their music just wasn't so loud. So, I mean, but I know that I'm like the only one working on music. Everybody's drawing or studying or something, but maybe those guys studying, maybe they would like it to be quieter too. I mean, it's all the same type of music too. Like, I wish they would have some sort of mix. It's just all the same. I mean, I don't necessarily want them to play classical, but if they could play a little bit different. The place that has the best music track is actually at my work. They have, I work in San Francisco, and they have, though I'm actually moving, that'll be great. Work in San Francisco, in one of the buildings there, they have the lobby that you just go down and you can have meetings or just eat your dinner or lunch or whatever, and it's nice. And they have like the coolest track. It's all these remixes of game and soundtracks and popular music and stuff, and just like super variety or whatever. I don't know. It's some artist that probably just took all of this and just remixed them. So because I don't know where else they would find that variety, but it's super good. Dun, dun. I think can move that over. Honestly, like if someone's watching this, they'll probably say you don't really need to move. I probably don't even need to be this pedantic about like all these notes being exactly to the line or whatever. But in some places it does. In some places it probably doesn't. But actually, I'd probably do it more so because I'm kind of anal about it, but like I kind of also enjoy it. It's kind of like kind of fun just to take some time to do. I don't ever really work on music at work because I don't know if that's really allowed with my contract. Work for a video game company, but I don't know. Like, let's see. Actually, hold on. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, but man, it would be super cool if I could do this type of stuff at work, because like usually this is kind of like mind numbing or whatever, and like sometimes if you get home, you kind of don't necessarily want to work on this part about it. You know, you may usually if I write music, pretty much always I write music at night. Right now it's in the day. It's 2:43, something like that. But like doing the work part about a track, I don't know, since I'm already at work, maybe it just feels like perfect mindset, and it just like I could just go to town. My job I had a couple times ago, I did that. They didn't mind me working on music. Let's see if this has a roll. Okay, nope, doesn't need it. So some of the ones that you can see that have the notes before the measure, I'm not too quick to change those because usually I have the roll on the very first part of the phrase of the measure. So dun 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 dun. So that second part and that first part of the main phrase will usually have a roll, but all the notes in between never do. And this song's pretty easy to work on as far as this part goes. The last one that I had was a lot more variable, had a lot of changes and stuff in the rhythm and things like that. So like pretty much all of this, like I know it's pretty much going to be like I'm going to have eighth notes and quarter notes in here. I really am not going to have a whole lot of whole notes. I'm not going to really have a whole lot of 16th notes or anything like that. So it's pretty super straightforward. This song is really forgiving in that regard. Let's see, how does this go? This is probably going to be there. Nope. Let's see, how did I write that? Oh, I think I had it like that, because I know in that part it does go dun dun. Let's see, hold on. Dun 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 dun. Oh, this is at the end of the song. Dun 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 dun. Let's see if I can move this out a bit more. Give me more space to work with. So the ending does not end like this. There's another part that I actually need to record, but for the most part that's fine, and I'll probably sign off and record it again. I might do that on stream anyway. Oh, that is where the annoying sound is coming from. Okay. Do 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 do. Let's see if that's it. Okay, so something's wrong, and it might be this one. Yeah, whew, that was not a pleasant sound. Blah. Alright, let's move. Yeah, that sounds good. Do, 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 dun, dun. Wonder if I should put that there. Let's see how it sounds. Yeah, maybe I should do it a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. Nice. Okay, let's see. Move these here. These probably go here. So the reason that they're all off is because I don't have good rhythm when I'm writing music. And I don't ever use a metronome because I guess I usually... Actually, I think I wrote this... I didn't write this one just like off the cuff. I wrote it, usually I use my phone, or used to in the day before I had a MIDI controller and a computer and all that. I used to write it on the piano, record it on my phone, and then memorize it. And so that's what I did with this one, I think. Or at any point. Like, I mean, sometimes I still do that. Sometimes I still use, like, I've got my not controller, my controller's over there, my piano here. Let's see. I think that is gonna be here. But anyway, like, so most of the time I won't use a metronome because it distracts me, especially when I'm writing. But even sometimes when I already know what I'm doing, because if I mess up, then I'm off, and I hear the beat and I'm playing it, and it's already off, and then it distracts me even more. Don't have the best rhythm. Let's move these all the way over here. So one thing I've actually been worried about this whole time that I've been doing this, and I don't really mind doing this, but this bass note right here, this bass note could go here. I could make it a whole half note. I think that's a half note. Something like that. Yeah, looks like a half note. But I've been making it just a quarter note, and it sounds good on the piano. But I'm not sure if it's going to sound good with strings. And it doesn't really make... I think it's mostly just because I've got this stupid pedal going on. So, at the very least, what I might have to do, especially when I give the bottom notes to the strings, all these guys, is that I'm going to have to probably make them half notes or more. I think in some cases, like you can see, I did this one right here, and I think it was mostly because I didn't know what I really wanted to do. So I've been kind of conflicted on this whole time. But that's really only one case. The last track I worked on, it was the opposite, where I just kept having... I think it was kind of a confidence builder, though. Like, as I mentioned, most of the time I have this pedal, and it's like this security blanket or whatever. And then I just realized, you know what? I don't need to have shorter notes and a longer sustain. All I need to do is just have a longer note, and it's fine for the note to go from one to the other. If I have A and then it goes to the B, or A and it goes to C, whatever, it doesn't even matter, then it can do that. Like, I don't necessarily have to have the pedal to do it. Oh. Wait a minute. Dun, dun, dun. Why do I only have... Oh, that's why. Man. Okay, so that can go here. which means all that can go here, not that one. You get back! I really like Ableton's editor. I used to use Logic, and I liked Logic's default instruments better. I liked how you could mix them. Ableton has really good drums, though, I think. But Ableton's editor is just so great. It feels so good just to snap these notes. I mean, you can snap them to the grid in Logic, but I don't know. You can make them wider. You can just crunch them out. It just feels way easier. I don't know. It just feels way easier. I don't know. That's just how I feel. All right, let's. Oh. Booyah. All right, let's see. Let's go back from here and play this part. Okay. I don't even know why my dynamics are so weird. Like, so weird on this, like, particular recording. Usually I'm a lot not as terrible. So, I think the next time I'll go through and there's a lot that I need to fix. Like, it should be flowing and it should have some authority, but it should be smooth. Like, let me see if I can. Let me see if I can just play it. Let's see. Work. Oh. Yeah, let's see. It should just be kind of more like. Something like that. Oh yeah, that reminds me. That's where I need to add one of those here. So it should be something like a roll. Or something like that. Okay. Alright, let's see. So now what I need to do is I need to add this ending. So most of the time, or a lot of the time I should say, I'm kind of conflicted on how one of my tracks ends, and I don't know why that is. but I wrote one that I really liked for this particular track. I really liked it, but I kind of felt like I was borrowing too much from it just felt like I was borrowing from another song. I don't think it was melody wise. I just felt like chord progression wise, like it just kind of felt like it felt like another track, and I'm not sure if I did like it, but I'm not sure if it kind of stayed true to this track. I don't know. It had like a very like Final Fantasy type chord progression, which is great. It had some of the best songs, but like I'm not sure if I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'll do that next time. Anyway, let's see. Yep. All right. Well. Anyway, join me next time. I'm gonna try to do these once a week. It'll obviously, hopefully, get a lot more interesting once I start adding some other tracks. So adding some violins and brass and things like that. Basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the piano. So the piano has the 2 bass notes and usually 3 notes in the right hand. So the melody, harmony, and whatever else that is. So I'll give those to some other instruments. So I'll probably give some of the melody and in-between phrases to brass. I'll give bass notes to strings. I'll probably have some high strings too, so doing the same. That's usually really fun to do. You have some cellos doing the bass, but then I have some violins also doing the bass, like kind of up here. And then I think I really would like to have some pipe organs doing the first phrase. So just but it's kind of tricky because with pipe organs, I also have the trouble with the pedal on those too. So a real pipe organ does have pedals, but I don't think they have a sustain pedal. I think there's a sustain button. The pedals are actually bass notes, so you kind of use bass notes down there and then you play or something like that. But I tend to make those too muddy too. I have another track that I really want to get to, and that kind of has like a Final Fantasy IX type vibe to it, kind of adventure-y, but kind of gypsy-like, kind of like if you were in some sort of bizarre market, and there was some sort of like person playing music there, it would kind of sound like that. And that's in it's not a, I'm not sure if it was a pipe organ or kind of like a church organ, but it kind of has that sound to it. Really kind of fun and cool. But the one that when I was doing pipe organs for this one, I originally wrote it in that, and I was debating between do I have it a piano, do I have it a pipe organ? I think I should have kind of both. But whenever I did the pipe organ, I kind of had it too muddy, and it's really difficult to listen to. So I want people who listen to it to not feel in pain when they're listening to it. I want them to enjoy it. So I got to find a way to kind of balance that. I think the reason that I had it too muddy was one, the sustain pedal. I had a sustain pedal. Pipe organ doesn't have a sustain pedal, but it probably does have the button. So I'll probably do a moderate version of that. And two, I will probably have less notes. So I could probably do that by removing one of the notes in the bass, so not having an octave. So I'll just have one note. So just one of those. And then I might make those, I think this is a fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so I'm doing fifths here, but I have the third. So I'll probably remove the third, give it to something else, give it to, might just give it to brass. And then, I don't know, we'll see what I do. But anyway, I think I'm going to try to at least do one of these streams. I mean, I'm really motivated to get getting this one done. So probably I might even sign on tonight. So anyway, thanks for watching.